What is going on, America? What's going on, YouTube? What's going on, Facebook? Hopefully, y'all got my massage. I was saying that my guest is running just a few minutes behind, but I figure while we got a few minutes, we might as well go ahead and get caught up to date on what's happening around this here country. First of all, I don't get a chance to talk to you guys enough. I don't, usually I do a show. You guys don't get a chance to ask me questions or necessarily pick topics that you want to address. And I said, you know what, one of these days I need to just talk to everybody about, what they're thinking is going on around the country. Do they have questions that maybe I haven't addressed in some of my live streams or some of my videos? And they might just have some general questions for me. So while we're waiting on my guest to join, I figured I'd say what's happening. All right. And give shout outs to a couple people. Don, I see you in the house. And then Dallas. All right. We got Louis. Okay. So we got some folks already in the chat, along with myself in the chat. Now, here's my question. I want to see if, since we're live, can you guys, number one, hear me? And number two, let me see. All right. All right. I want to see y'all chat. Say something. Let me know it's working. Oh, there it is. I see movement. I see movement. Yeah, I see some movement. Now, I must confess, I have not found out what's going on around the country today in the news. Did they arrest Creepy yet? Did anybody? Is he in jail yet? No? He's still running on the loose? Do we need to put out an APB on that guy? That's my question. Now, hopefully, once my guests start, I'm going to see if there's a possible way that he can make us all rich. That's what I'm going to do. That's going to be my straight out the gate question. Hey, Colin, are you able to make us all rich? Guaranteed, no risk. That's what I want to be rich, man. Before we get out of here, somebody said, "Love your show." Shout out from PA. You're right up the street, man. You're right up the street. Yeah, I could throw a rock to PA. I used to hang out there all the time. I used to go up there constantly and salsa dance. Plus, I got a lot of family members up there. Now, I'm not sure what part of PA you from, but if you're from like Pittsburgh, what's up with those accents? My cousins, man, they're hilarious. They don't say go, they say go. I'm like, what is go? I don't know what that is. Hey Chucky, you ready to go? Like, what are you talking about? Just go. Home, phone. I'm like, where'd that come from? I don't know, but it's okay. I like it just because it's different. So PA, I love it. All right. And I would love it more if they would stop charging me all of those toll booth fees and stuff like that. I don't like it. I want to stop and be able to give those people my money instead of them sending me home some little card saying you owe some money. You're not going to get it that way, PA. I hate to tell you, I'm not coughing up the bucks if I got to lick stamps and go on the internet and find out where I send the money. That's too much. Too much. So God knows how much money I owe to PA right now. You may not ever see me again in Pennsylvania. They're probably looking for me right now as we speak. Somebody said, "What's up, Kev?" Hey, all right. Now, this is your time. Now, I don't want to hear y'all one day say we never get the chance to talk to Kev and ask him what kind of questions and stuff we want to know. All right, it says my dad has been in where mono. Ooh, that's a big word. Now I got to go back to my phonics. Monogahelia. Is that close? I don't know. But interesting. Now I need a spell check. I need to know how that word's pronounced. Mono. Do I sound it out? I don't know. That's a big word. I'm gonna have to work on that one, Don. I have to work on it. All right. So it says that PA Turnpike is expensive. That's for sure. And they done went ahead and done away with like real people. That's the problem I have with it, man. Lease in Ohio, I don't know how long we're going to hang in there, but lease in Ohio, they got people in the booth. Now, Susan said, I have no sound on YouTube. Anyone else? Anybody else having trouble with the sound on YouTube? Huh? Let's get that straight before we move on, because it seems that people are actually communicating with me. So apparently the sound is working. I'm not sure if it's just that particular device. No sound, Susan? Still none? All right. Wait. Let's see. Okay. All right, 5 months practice. Nope. All right, so everybody else can hear me. Sound is good. Okay, good, good, good. So, if you saw the last interview I had with this young man who is about to be joining the chat pretty soon, he's pretty fascinating because one, I told him last time I never seen a CEO this young. Hey, ladies, by the way, I mean, I might slide in a question like, are you single? Not for me, not for me. I mean, I'm just saying, people in my show they might want to know. I'm just saying, I mean. So to become a CEO at a very young age is quite impressive. Okay, so that is pretty fascinating, and it's always good to pick the brains of people that have reached a certain level of success. They used to always say, you want to be a millionaire, you probably should hang around millionaires. You don't want to hang around a dude on the corner talking about, look here, boy, let me tell you something. See now, what you got to do? You get you a sock, okay? You get you a dirty sock, okay? And you put you a nickel in that sock once a day. Now, you do that, boy, for 39 years, you know what? You have about $500. You don't want that guy. You don't want somebody who's broke as a joke with no hope trying to tell you how to become rich. So it's always good to hang around people that have reached a level of success. I learned that as a young boy in Cincinnati. I wanted adventure. I want to open up. Hold on, let me see something, guys. I think we might. We might. Are we in? Hold on. Okay, no, that's a different one. Okay, all right. Anyway, so um, when I was younger, I wanted to start a restaurant, a Christian entertainment restaurant, which I was able to do. It was called the Gospel Grill. The Gospel Grill, y'all. And the guy who owned the facility, he liked the concept. He liked, the concept. He's like, okay, what we're doing with the joint really isn't popping that much. This is kind of a pet project to me anyway. And so he told me if I could come up with some money, I mean, I could go ahead and rent it and open up the joint. So I said, bet. I went, y'all. I scraped up all the pennies I could and fell short. Fell short. So I go back to the guy and I say, look, man, uh, I couldn't come up with the money. This man said, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna help you out. He said, let's go down to the bank. We went to the bank. Now, this is the level you want to be on, okay? This man got a loan for $75,000 with just his signature. He didn't have to show no nothing. No, all right, here's my assets and how much I make a month. That man was on a level to where all he had to do is say, I need $75,000. Okay, Mr. So and so, there you go. I couldn't believe it. I was sitting there like this, what? I just had to give a blood sample, a urine sample, a DNA sample, promise a couple kidneys, threaten to have my family members snuffed out if I don't repay the money to the bank. And this man went in and signed it and just said, there you go. Didn't even worry about it. Hey, if I lose a 75, I lose it. It's okay. That's where I would love to get to. And I probably would be close if YouTube wasn't on my back. Now, real quick, while we're waiting, I'm about to check one more time on my guest, make sure he ain't have no technical issues, because I was assuming he would just pop up on my screen there. But just in case, I better ask him, okay, while I'm doing that. You guys, somebody said, don't forget an arm and a leg. That's right, man. There's certain people you don't want on your back, man. You don't want the IRS on your back. You don't want the bank on your back. Nah, man. Uh-huh. Those folks will come and get their money. Oh, and student loans. Student loans. Mm-hmm. See, I got stories for days, guys. All the little crazy scenarios and stories I tell y'all is actually true. I'm not like Joe Biden where I'm making stuff up. Yeah, that's right. I jumped the Grand Canyon with Evel Knievel. You didn't see that? No, I'm not that guy. And I really only tell a story in my life if it's applicable to what I'm talking about, or it just pops up in my head. So a lot of people, when they hear certain things, they say, Kev, you did that? I didn't know you did that. When did that happen? And in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, I just never brought it up because it wasn't relevant, But I honestly think if I wanted to, I could write like a full-blown movie about my life and all the things that I've done, seen, places I've been, people I've met. It's hilarious. But I just don't get up on, the internet and start saying, hey, guess what I did? nothing worse, ladies, than you meet a guy and he sits down. All right, I want to tell you how successful I am. Guess what I've done? Back then, I did this and that. And I'm going, you're blowing it, champ. You're blowing it. You got to leak stuff out selectively. So with that being said, I was up at Miami and I learned the hard way about trying to keep up with your bills. People will come back and get you. So I had this black Acura Integra. Beautiful. I was probably too young to have it. Old man Teddy, whom I love dearly, went to an auction, messed around, bought me a black Acura Integra. It was smoked out. I dropped all my nickels I had, put in one of those big behind boxes in the back, sound like a gorilla in my trunk, trying to get out. Boom, 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 boom. To this day, my hearing is bad, probably because of that. Old man Teddy told me, hey man, stop listening to that loud music. You get my age, you ain't gonna be able to hear it. Whatever, Dad. Cranked it up. Had the nerve to have a built-in cell phone in the car before cell phones was popular. That's right. Yeah, hit me over the head for about $3,000 roaming, trying to floss. So I go up there and I didn't have a parking pass at Miami University. So what do? Parked illegally. Come back, tickets all over the car. I'm looking at those tickets like, whatever. I ain't paying this mess. I'm about to graduate anyway. I don't need this. I left, and about 4 years later, now, this is how your parents try to drop some wisdom in your head. So I left, go to buy me a house. Now, before I went off to college, my father said, hey, man, don't get out there and mess up your credit. Okay, you're going to need it. I said, whatever, Dad. I'm going to the NFL. I'll buy everything with cash. Went to buy a house. I'm sitting there like, so, how do people be looking through the paperwork? And you sitting over there on pins and needles. Well, what you looking at? What you see? And oh, wow, okay. I tell you what. And I'm like, oh God. This man told me you can get the house after you go back and take care of those parking tickets. He said that credit card that you got your freshman year and your dad told you don't run it up. What did I do? Man, whatever. Round of drinks for everybody. All of that stuff came back to bite me. So I had to pay off all of that debt before I was able to purchase my first house. And all I could hear in my head was my dad's voice saying, hey, man, don't mess up your credit. You're going to need it eventually. So many of those run through my head to this day. That's why I love my dad. And no matter what condition he's in, I'm going to work with him. Because he was the voice of reason so many years telling me, don't do it. Same thing with the Jerry curl. Told me not to get a Jerry curl, but I didn't listen. Now I got evidence that I had a curl at one point. Now, let me do one last check, make sure our guest is still coming in, or else we might have to just go ahead and have ourselves a little party. Hold up, wait. I see I got one guest. Oh, yeah. Okay. Let's see. How does this work? Yep. Edit mic. Okay, wait, kick from studio. No, add to stream. There we go. Guess that worked. Colin.
Hey, how you doing?
Hello.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Let's see. Can y'all see Colin? Can y'all hear Colin?
Hello.
Colin, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Sweet. I can hear you too, man.
Hey, I thought I'd put my shades on here too. I mean, you got shades on.
That's what I'm talking about, man. Matter of fact, we might have to drop the Blues Brothers on these people one day. How's it going, man? Long time no see.
Good. I can't see, so I'm gonna take them off. So
okay. Hey, you know what? And I'll tell you what, I'm gonna go with Professor Hawk this time too. There we go. I'm going with Professor Hawk. There we go. Now, somebody said that both clear here. All right, there we go. So people can see and can hear you. Welcome back to the show. You should have heard me just giving a wonderful introduction to you. And, I was telling the people how last time we did an interview, I was amazed. And I said to myself, this man has to be the youngest CEO I ever met. So I said, I ain't gonna get in this business, but ladies, if you ever decide to flirt with a CEO. Don't flirt with a bum. You know, get a nice young man who's on the market and doing some big things. So I commend you for all your success and all the accomplishments to get to where you're at. So first things first, how's everything going? Are things busy?
We're busy. Yeah, no, we're busy. I was just over here. I just pulled out a little bit of some inventory here to look at. It's got a 1 ounce gold, coin here, and got a 10-ounce gold, 10-ounce silver bar here, flag bar. This is really fun. So
wait, is that gold or is that silver?
This one's silver. Yeah, this is it's in plastic right now, so I don't.
Okay, got it.
Here and then yeah, this is gold right here. And I was funny. I was just watching. Have you seen? There's a video with this guy named Mark Dice. He's a YouTuber.
I love Mark.
And he's on the streets and he goes up to people just walking around and he has a 1 ounce gold coin. He's like, "Hey, it's a Canadian maple leaf coin." He's like, "Hey, trade this coin." And one of the guys was drinking a beer. He's like, "I had a few beers. Can I trade this?" The guy's like, no, I'm thirsty.
Right.
I'm gonna keep this. I'm gonna keep this beer. And then he went up to a woman, and she was wearing a mask, of course. And he said, "Hey, can I trade you this 1 ounce gold coin for a mask?" She's like, "No. What am I gonna do with that? What am I gonna do with that gold coin?" And then the last guy he went up to, he's like, "It's Canadian. What am I gonna do with the Canadian coin?" And it was in the U.S. And I just in my head thought, this is a video from about a year and a half ago.
Right.
Gold was sitting at about 1750, and just thinking to myself, like, we're in bad shape if you can't even convince somebody to trade, $20 worth of items for a 1 ounce gold coin.
Are you kidding me? So wait, how much is the 1 ounce coin worth? You say?
Well, today, you're probably looking at probably like $2,050, $2,100 for these coins.
What?
Yeah.
And that's 1 ounce?
That's 1 ounce, yeah.
You got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
And the people did not recognize the value.
No, they had no idea about gold. It just, in the US, we don't, with investments, we've been so trained to just focus on our 401ks and maybe you buy a house but alternative investments are foreign in a way. And I think that because this country is so abundant in everything,
yep,
we don't understand that these items, have such significant value in the world. They can do so much. Gold is used in heart monitors and, they're using it in all kinds of technology, cell phones. So I think sometimes we forget that, they're shiny and beautiful, but there's more use than you would think. And I think
right.
Sort of the education problem, financial education issue that we have in the United States is that we don't get, they don't really talk about finances too much until you're much older.
Yeah.
And also they don't talk about just supply and demand aspects of commodities and why so many large billionaires and corporations and central banks, why a central bank would buy a shiny item that doesn't pay a dividend because they know there's a limited supply of it in the world. That's their reasoning behind it. You can also lend against it. So a lot of central banks will keep gold and then they'll barter against the gold they have because every party knows what this is worth. So it's a great bartering instrument, just in terms of you're doing large transactions. So it's just unique of what's happening in this country. Just that we've done a poor job of educating our youth on different types of money that's available out there. And I was talking to a client that bought some gold and silver for their kids, and it's so amazing to do that because, like, for instance, right here, so we got, let's just say $2,000. We got a 10-ounce silver bar, so that's $250. And let's say this 5 ounce is worth, I think it's worth about 100, 120. Let's say it's actually worth more, but so let's say you got $2,500 here in gold and silver. If you give this to a kid right now, immediately that kid has a $2,500 net worth. Whereas there's no other time that a child could have an actual net worth, unless you put some money in the bank, but that's going to dwindle. You put some money in the stock market for them, that's could go up and down. But this is real money. This is actually has value. And so I was talking to this gentleman about just the idea of setting your kids up and educating them with gold and silver at a young age. It really is something that they can understand, and it does give them some confidence that, hey, when they graduate at 18 and going off to college or whatever they're going to do, they actually have some value in the world. They're actually worth something, as opposed to where a lot of us, you and I kind of started at zero, or sometimes worse than zero.
I was negative. I was in the negative.
Yeah, exactly. And that's not uncommon either. A lot of people are in their negatives in their 20s, but getting some gold and silver early could be a great advantage to a young person. And then just understanding how to save, right? I mean, the fact that, if you start with this $2,500 in value today, let's say gold and silver continue to skyrocket, right now, this could be a down payment on a car. It could pay rent. I mean, there's a lot of things that this could pay for. And in 10 years, it will be able to pay for those things also. It'll pay for those things.
So then if one has been collecting gold or silver for a while, and they need to check the value of it at the time. Say, for example, I had that coin at birth. And the coin currently is what I think you said, what, like 2,500 or something?
The gold coin's probably worth a little over $2,000, $2,050, something like that right now.
Okay. Now, what determines whether that value goes up or down? And then my second question is, if I need to cash out to actually make a payment or just get cash for it, where do I go to do that?
Yeah. So the first question is there's a global market for gold and silver. It's on the exchange, and the price daily typically moves, every hour, depending on what's happening in the market. So, gold has hit an all-time high of 2070. We're sitting in the low 1900s right now. Part of it is based on supply and demand. Part of it is based on buyer sentiment. Right now, I believe gold and silver are a little bit down from where they were, is because people don't know what to do right now in the markets. There's a study that came out, and it's talking about millionaires right now. Some of the wealthiest people are keeping more of their money in cash, almost 34% in cash, which is a huge number in terms of cash, which shows that, these people are they just don't know where to put their next investment. They've been beaten up in the stock market for the last 2 years, so they just don't know what to do. So they're resorting to going into cash or a cash alternative, which would be like a money market or something to that effect. But it's a bad recipe. I don't keep cash. I only keep enough to survive for a few months. Everything else is out there in some type of investment, because at the end of the day, like, to make 2 to 3% on cash, when inflation, they report inflation 5%, it's probably 10 to 12%. You need to continue to grow your the value of your money. You've got to continue to get money out there. So, people are scared. They're going into cash. Millionaires are going into cash. But really, there's some amazing opportunities. And I think commodities right now are highly undervalued, just based on where we're going. Second question is, how do you liquidate? We buy back. If you buy these items from us, from Noble Gold Investment, at any time, we will buy back this metal from you, no questions asked. So you can send the metal back to us, or if we have it stored, because we have a depository that we use, and if they have metals there, we can just liquidate it for you right then and there and send you a bank wire. Or if you bought it from us and it's shipped to you, then you just ship it back to us and we buy it back. So, but anyone would buy back these items. These are bullion, gold, and silver items. Anyone would buy the coins and bars that we sell. They're liquid anywhere in the world. So you would never have an issue. It's a misnomer to believe that these items are not liquid.
Okay. So, let's just say, right now, with the competition between China and then you got Russia and some other countries wanting to seem to side with them to really might crush or damage the dollar, the U.S. dollar. If that happens, all of those people that are just hanging on to that money, that they lose money, I would assume.
Yeah.
But my question is,
go ahead.
would gold and silver not be impacted if that happened to the U.S.? Is China and all those other countries, do they value gold and silver? Can I take that to China and it's worth more than, say, our dollar if it collapsed?
Yeah. So what China has been doing, they're the BRIC nations, so Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, and there's other ones that are sort of attaching themselves. They right now want to release a gold-backed currency. They've been working on it. They say it's going to come out in the next 2 to 3 months. So they're pushing for a currency that's backed by real gold, which is what we used to back our currency by. So They are planning to do that. If they do and they're successful, their idea is that they want to have their currency be an alternative to the dollar, alternative to the euro, alternative to other currencies that are out there. So that's something that they're trying to push. Russia obviously wants it because they need a currency that they can use.
Right.
So they're heavily invested in it. But China is also doing a lot of trading with Russia. So it would make it much easier for them to trade, because right now with the sanctions, they have to be very creative in how they're trading and bartering together. Coupled with the fact, not to go on a tangent, but the Wagner group, that the mercenaries in Russia, the U.S. Treasury is actually tracking them right now, because the Wagner group is partially, they believe, funded by illegal mining all over the world. So they believe that part of the reason that they've had this success and they've been pushed is partially they were initially funded by Russia as a group, but also part of the reason that they're so wealthy and they've been pushing is that they've been stealing mines, manipulating mines, doing illegal mining of gold and silver, kind of all over the world. So that it just sort of shows that no matter what goes down with currencies, with the stock market, with anything, there's always a place of value in something like gold and silver, because it's so liquid anywhere in the world. Everybody wants it. Even the United Arab Emirates, the UAE, has increased their gold holdings by 41% over the last 12 months. So you're seeing all these, digital nomads and all these corporations and all these people moving to the Middle East because of tax advantages and the potential growth and the real estate. But now they're becoming a major player in the gold market, acquiring more gold for trading and bartering. So there's just a lot of movement happening in the metals market. A lot of people that are really eyeing it as a stable place. We're in war right now, whether we've proclaimed war with Russia, we are in a war right now. So when you have these things happen, you're going to have investors flee typical equity markets, typical investments. They're going to look for safe haven. And that's why you see a tremendous amount of buying in precious metals. So
what you made me think of something. Do you have to get a license to mine? I mean, what is the regulations?
You don't have to have a license to mine, but many countries all over the world are highly focused on ethical mining. It's also something that happens in diamonds, where people have talked about blood diamonds and things of that nature. So it's really important in a lot of these countries that a lot of these second and third world countries, you have to get approval by the government to do mining in these locations. There's obviously environmental impacts that you have to focus on. There's safety for the miners. There's obviously situations that happen where we don't want to put them in a situation where they're mining in an area that's dangerous. So there are a lot of these things that have to happen. You basically have to get the blessing of the government that you're that you're mining into, to make sure that you can legally mine there and move it out. And then when it's shipped to a place like the United States, most of the big mining groups will make sure that they're going with a group that is following with these best practices.
Gotcha.
When it comes
Now,
to
so then technically there's nothing to keep me from going out in my backyard right now and going to work.
Absolutely. Right? No, absolutely not. You can absolutely do that. I mean, a lot of people do it, and you hear about these situations where someone heard, oh, there's a river here that might have some gold, and they from time to time they find stuff. But yeah, I think you're better off. It's funny. I was a few weeks ago. I was on vacation in a beach town, and there was a guy there with a metal detector at the beach, and I talked to him for a little bit. These guys are fascinating. And he was actually paid by the hotels.
Uh-huh.
And he said that mining just in that little bay that we were, gold rings, watches. I mean, he finds stuff almost weekly, stuff that falls off of people. He's paid by the hotel, so his contract, he has to return things.
Uh-huh.
He found a Rolex. I mean, he's found some pretty amazing items just in that local bay. So yeah, there's no one restricting you from going out, getting a metal detector, and trying to find your fortune.
So if you do go to some remote location, or you hear about some gold in a river or wherever, you go, and if you mine on that property or you find gold on that property, if the state or owns the property, or if an individual owns the property, is there anybody who could confiscate what you find based on you being on the property?
Yeah, I mean, I think the key is loose lips sink ships, right? So
right.
You probably want to keep it under wraps when you're doing this kind of mining or trying to find things in different locations. But you hear about these stories, these shipwrecks. These stories where people find these hoards. A lot of times it's in the Caribbean. They find these hoards of gold, and then you have countries come back. There's a famous ship, I can't think of the name of it right now, where Spain basically came back later and said it was their ship, and there was a lawsuit about whose gold it was. But yeah, it is a big part of it. In my opinion, if you're not a professional, it's probably easier to just give us a call and we can just ship it out directly to your step. And I don't have it here with me today, but I have sold and I have some shipwreck gold and silver. Yeah, I have some shipwreck gold and silver that I can absolutely sell to people. That's in the condition you would be shocked. I have a few coins. Actually, I saved it for my kids, and they're from a shipwreck. And they were at the bottom of the ocean for 150 years, and because they were the way that they were sealed and protected, they're in impeccable condition.
Get out of here! That's amazing. So
yeah,
how do gold and silver fare up against, say, diamonds? Is it equal in value?
Yes. I mean, the thing about diamonds is that you can actually make diamonds in a lab, right? So the diamond market is completely manipulated now, if you think about it, because you can make a perfect diamond in a lab that unless you were a trained specialist, you wouldn't even know. So it's not like gold and silver. Gold, there has to be some type of event for there actually to be gold. It has to be mined. They can't create it in a lab. Same thing with silver. Same thing with platinum and palladium. I mean, these are difficult to find in big quantities. There's only enough gold in the world that fits in 2.5 size Olympic size swimming pools. So it's not that much gold in the world if you think about it.
Wait a minute.
And that's based on mining operations pretty much everywhere in the world. The supply of gold only goes up by 1 to 1.5% per year. So that's why it's the perfect currency, in my opinion, because it can't grow like the US dollar where they just print it out of thin air. There's work behind it, and they have to mine it. And that's why the market is typically more secure and more stable than a lot of the other markets out there, because there's no way a bunch of gold is going to get dumped onto the market. It's very hard to find large amounts of gold. So it does slowly grow the supply over time, but 1% is pretty small in the grand scheme of things.
So let me, if I'm getting this straight, you're telling me even all the gold we had in Fort Knox and all over the country, all over the world, it's only enough to fill 2 Olympic-sized swimming pools?
2.5, yeah. And
2.5?
I would tell you, I don't know about Fort Knox. I haven't been in there. Nobody's been in there. I don't know how much gold they got in there. I think there hasn't been an audit there in almost 40 years. So I'm not confident. There's probably some gold in there, but I'm not confident the amount. I think at some point we probably sold some, or did something with some of the gold in there.
That's very interesting. Well, I tell you what, man, I still got my gold that you sent. Oh man, yeah. This right here is the United We Stand. Don't tread on me. And then I got the what's this? Second Amendment. Oh, Second Amendment is my permit. That's what that one says. One of my favorites right here. This right here, man. This is beautifully packaged, and I love that silver.
Yeah.
Now, far as silver and gold, how different is the amount between those, like the value between silver and gold?
It's like 80 to 1, I think, right now, about price wise. So yeah, and they when you look at the ratio of gold to silver, if you take out the last 30 years, we used to be at a 16 or 18 to 1 silver to gold ratio, but we're at about an 80 to 1 ratio right now. So silver, relatively speaking, is I think it's a bargain where it's priced at. And if you look at all the uses for silver sort of going forward, there's a lot of uses out there that we won't be able to cover based on the amount of silver that we have above ground.
Wow. Okay.
The other thing I like about silver is during the pandemic, for instance, for that year and a half, the really strong part of the pandemic, silver jewelry sales were up by 300%. And a lot of people aren't aware that those jewelry sales were up, makeup was up. So there's these simple, I would say, pleasures during bad times that people always want. Alcohol was obviously up. So there's certain things that people buy. So as the price of gold gets more expensive, it makes it a little bit more difficult on the jewelry side, frankly. But it does create an opportunity for silver. And I think most of the people that I know that are in the jewelry business, they say that the silver demand is quite high because, an average person can actually afford a $100 to $500 necklace or chain or whatever jewelry. So it's more consumable and it's a little easier to digest that price point for most people. So that's why silver also in the jewelry field, I also think is a great metal because it's sturdy, it lasts a long time, and it's at a price range where a lot of people can afford it.
That's great. Somebody has a question. I'm not sure. Let's say it says, ask him why silver is an extinct metal. Isn't it an extinct metal? Or are we still?
No, I mean, we're still mining silver.
Still mining it? Okay. So then I guess my question is this. What creates the value in a coin? Like this is a silver coin.
Well, technically it's a round because that's a privately minted round. So the difference is when it's a round, it looks like a coin, but that's from a private mint in Europe, actually, that made that coin. They made that coin specifically for us. It has a very high relief, and you can see the engraving in there. It's a very beautiful coin.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah, anything that's privately minted is considered a round. Anything that's made by a governmental mint is considered a coin. So, for instance, this coin, this is the Philharmonic coin. This is a coin. This 5-ounce America the Beautiful is a coin. This is a bar of silver. This is from a private mint. So in essence, coins, governmental coins, typically cost a little bit more because a government put their name on this and
gotcha.
Right. This 5-ounce America the Beautiful coin, even though it's only 5 ounces of silver, I think
Right.
it's trading. Last time I checked, I think these are trading in the $150 to $180. So they're above the spot price of silver pretty substantially, but it's made by U.S. Mint. They only make this coin. They only make about 30,000 of each of them. So there is a limited supply. Yeah, the one you have right there. So that's a very popular coin. So in essence, part of it is the silver content, part of it is who makes it, and then obviously it could get more extreme if it's considered rare. At Noble Gold Investments, we focus on bullion coins and bars, but like for instance, if you bought a shipwreck coin from us that was obviously in a shipwreck from 150 years ago, that the rarity, it will increase the price above just the price of the metal.
All right. Well, Colin, I got a question for you, man. I've been doing a little something myself, and I need to get your feedback. So you say there are people out there that are coin collectors, right?
Correct.
They just like, I found a whole bunch of rare coins in my house.
Oh, really? Where?
My great grandfather, they just kept all these coins.
Oh, wow.
And I went on eBay, and one of these coins was being bidded on for $999.
Wow. Silver coin?
Silver coin.
Wow.
Here's one from 1908. I got one in here from 1800.
Wow.
Unbelievable. Yeah, it's from the 1800s, man. But I went to the bank and I asked them, I said, well, how do you find out how much your coins are worth? And the lady told me, she said, all you do is you can go on eBay or you can go on the internet and see what that coin is being,
sold,
valued at. But my question is, the worst thing I fear is if I cash that in or I sell it, then all of a sudden find out,
yeah,
it went up like a whole $2,000 or $3,000.
Yeah. So there's a great question. So there's a book you can buy online. It's called The Red Book, and it'll have, I can't guarantee it has your coins, but it has thousands and thousands of coins. And they produce that book every year. There's a new one every year. And so it'll have the price approximately within the last year, what that coin is worth. So I'd check out the Red Book. It's a great option to get some kind of estimated value.
Okay.
The grade of the coin can really change the price. So, if you saw it for 900, but that coin could be in near mint or great condition. And if your coin looks a little beat up, the other thing you can do is once you get an idea that they have some value, there's a company called PCGS, and they actually grade coins. So you can call them and ship the coin to them, and they'll put it into a case. I don't have a graded coin here, but they'll put it into a sealed case, and they'll put the grade on it. It costs like $30 maybe, and they'll put the grade on it, and then that, as a collector, that is a very desirable coin because it's already been graded by a professional, and then they can tell you the exact, and then you'll have a better idea of the value. So those are the two places that I would go on anything rare to get some kind of value. But absolutely take your time. I mean, I don't think the coins are just going to get more valuable over time. So I wouldn't recommend any sale.
So the Red Book and PCGS.
PCGS, you'll find them. Yeah, and you could ship. So for instance, like if I wanted to, I could ship this coin in. They would grade it, put it in a case, and it would have their seal on it, and that it means that they've approved it. It's in an enclosed case, and that'll help the value, especially the one that's $900. It probably will help to get it graded.
That's interesting. I went to the bank, and the lady was like, "Don't turn it into the bank because we're only going to give you what it's valued for."
Right.
But she also told me, "Don't wash them.
Don't wash them."
Yeah. I mean, is it something about having the original grimy old look that people desire?
You could damage the coin depending on how you do it. Yeah. So you want to leave it in the condition it's in, and depending on the tarnish of it or the varnish that's on it, someone might pay. There's some coins, gold coins that have like a rainbow tint to them, and people pay They pay a huge premium for that on some coins. So you want to leave it as is, buy that red book, and then contact PCGS and just see, if you, I think the coin's worth $100. It doesn't make sense probably to get it graded, but a $900 coin. And I also think I would just keep it, get it graded, keep it. And then, you got something for the future to hold on to.
Speaking of the future, man, where do you see us going, man? The market. You think we're in trouble? Is this a time to, let's see, if you got some extra money based on inflation, based on where this latest administration is taking us, should you put that money into gold or silver? And do you think the market's going to go up or down? I mean, you got any opinions on for going up or down?
I got a crystal ball. I think what I would look at is, and my prediction is probably goes against what we're reading out there, because they've said basically that the Fed is, most investors, 75% of investors believe the Fed's going to raise interest rates one more time next month, and then they won't raise it for the rest of the year. My thinking is that if inflation is lower than it's been, lower than 4.9%, let's say it comes in at 4.25 or 4.5%, I don't think they raise interest rates. I think they just keep it flat. That's what I'm hoping for. But my belief has been for over a year that they've just tried to ruin the economy for about a year and a half, 2 years. And then I think what they're going to do at the end of this year, first quarter next year, my opinion only, is that they're going to open up the money supply. I think they lower interest rates. They expand the money supply. They did this in 2009 to 2011. Gold and silver went on a massive run. It was going up over 20% per year. So I think they're going to do that. And my belief they're going to do that is because there's an election coming up next year. They want things moving again. And the markets are, the market is frankly dead right now. That's why, so many millionaires are keeping so much money in cash. The wealthiest people in the world have moved almost over 30% of their money into cash right now. They're just hoarding cash as they don't know what to do. That's the worst thing that could happen to our economy. That for our economy to move, those people need to be investing in businesses, investing in assets, moving the economy, traveling. All luxury items are down significantly over the last 90 days. Luxury watches are down. Luxury travel is down. Everything is down. People are afraid right now. That's the worst thing. They need, for this economy to cook, you need spending. And right now, no one's spending anything because they don't know what to do. So I think, my opinion only, end of this year, first quarter next year, they open up the money supply. And I think, we start spending again and it starts cooking again, at least, to move the economy forward. And then, obviously most people vote with their pocketbooks. So I think the strategy would be that if things get better, at least temporarily, people may want to vote for the certain person. And so that's my belief.
You know what? That weighs heavily. All right. I got one more controversial question here, Colin. You ready?
I'm ready.
How much do you think you've been hearing, I've been hearing a lot about, is it ESG scores or something like that? Where a lot of companies are for
credit scores,
they're more woke and it's impacting. Yeah. Like, Bud and some other companies.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
How much do you think, that will impact the market if they continue to get pressured to go that direction? And can companies escape without being impacted or bullied into it?
Yeah. It's a trend that's, it's interesting. The Budweiser thing was a huge debacle. I mean, I don't think anyone would argue that.
And now,
obviously it's interesting in marketing because part of my business is, marketing, getting our name out there. And
right.
And so there's sometimes this strategy of like, oh, we need to try to appeal to a certain group. But you could obviously alienate the bigger percentage of the people that buy your product.
Right.
And it's one of those things where, Bud, big name, obviously big market. They're dominating the market. I didn't get any reports before this that they were considerably down. And so it was, don't rock the boat probably type of situation. But,
Right.
That's sort of what happens is that, in marketing, you get someone that comes up with an idea, trying to prove themselves, and, they go in a wrong direction, and it really can hurt your brand.
Right.
In a lot of different ways. I mean, listen, in 5 years, I'm sure Bud will bounce back and things will change, and people will forget about these things that are happening. But I think at the end of the day, as long as you're doing good things and you're doing the right things for people and you're marketing in an ethical way, whatever demographic you're trying to appeal to, it's fine. And, everybody has to focus on the brand that they want as a company. I mean, that's the beauty behind you and I owning our own business, is that we decide where we want to spend our dollars, and we decide, what's important to us as a company. And, I've always focused on building from within, hiring from within. Most of the people that have in the last 2 to 3 years we've hired have been referrals from friends, relatives. So I just focus on building within the core group of people that I have, which I know are great people, honest people, hardworking people. So I just double down on that and just kind of forget all the other noise that's out there.
That's a good strategy. Speaking of noise, I tell you, man, I support what you do. I'm very, very thankful that you guys support my channel. I drop your name out there constantly, and I told the people before you logged on, I said, we're going to see if Colin can make us all rich, and tell us what we need to do to get there.
It's a slow burn is the way, that I believe that you amass a lot of wealth. I think with, you make money in your business, but then you protect it with the investments, but the investments you put it into are you want to protect your downside risk, right?
Right.
And so when you work hard and you pay all your bills and you have a certain amount to live, and then you have that extra, being smart about where you put that extra is going to make a massive difference in how your future is.
Right.
And especially today when people are living so much longer and they're working so much longer, Social Security is not going to cut it. It's not going to keep up, even if you're getting the max amount, which is $3,000 or $3,500 a month, $3,000 will seem like a good amount now, but in 10 years, $3,000 won't be that much. It's really accumulating over time.
Yep.
So it's important to, take the time. And yes, it's always important to focus on your job, focus on your family, focus on your faith, but also focusing on your financial health and really taking time to do that is paramount. And if you're taking care of your family, you have to make sure that you're doing those things. There's no excuse out there. There's so much data. We offer free guides. You can call us. We give you free information. Anything that you need, questions, we're there. So I just urge people to call us. If you want to learn about what we do at Noble Gold Investments, give us a call. You're going to talk to people that you like, no pressure, learn about precious metals, but get education on, some of the alternative investments out there, because it's not like it once was. I mean, you look at the S&P 500, there's companies that were in the top 100 companies for years and years, and now they're not even on the S&P, or they're out of the top 100. Things change in the financial world. And, the guy that was, clocking in for 30 or 40 years at the same job and putting his hard hat on and that sort of mentality which is great, that hardworking mentality, but that loyalty that you have is not necessarily going to be there from your employer. You have to protect yourself. And part of that is your financial future.
That is amazing advice. And I'll tell you, Colin, if YouTube would ever get off my back, man, I tell you, they're doing a number. They're doing a number, man. Yeah. But every chance I get, I try to pub Noble Gold, because I like what you guys are doing. I discern You know, you're a wonderful young man, and you're doing big things. So I always tell people to go check it out, go to your website and invest. And I'm seeing in the comments a lot of people are already talking about, I need to give them a call. You know, I want to do some investing. So I'm pretty sure you're going to be getting some calls from this.
Good. Good.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, and make sure they mention that they heard us here on the show, and because obviously we look at all that stuff, so we appreciate that.
Sure.
But yeah, give us a call. We appreciate it, and looking forward to the next one.
Wonderful. So y'all hear that, ladies and gentlemen? When you call in, tell them that Kevin from Kevin's Corner sent you. Okay, do that. But yeah. So I'm about to drop a couple more videos, of course, with some clips. That's right, man. Now we got to go dark again on them because my eyes are taking a beating from these lights. So thanks for checking in with me again, man. I always enjoy talking to you.
Thanks,
I learned so much from it. And yeah, once YouTube does get off my back a little bit, I'm going to be dropping some more money into some gold too. Who knows? So God bless, man. You take care. I pray the best for you. And everybody listening to the chat, thank you so much for checking out the channel. We'll catch y'all next time. Oh, yeah. I feel like I should be like a Bond villain with this one. This is so beautiful. Mr. Bond. Welcome. Yeah, this is a beauty. So,
thanks,
but yeah, we'll talk soon, Colin.
All right,
good seeing you. Thanks for joining the chat. We'll see y'all next time in Kevin's Corner. Take care. God bless.